Hello, this is Rebekah Freedom. This is episode number 39 of Heard Not Seen, produced by John Beethan. And I got to tell you, I'm tired, people. I'm tired and I don't have a topic, so I'm going to ramble on about love and relationship. It's late at night. I normally get my podcast out earlier. I just haven't had it in me because I've been too busy having a man inside of me. And yay for that. But there's always the come down. And so, the good, healthy, smart side of me is like, you're going to cut out sugar. You're going to get yourself to the gym, early morning push-ups. Just get there. You see the routine. You see Zion, march towards it. But the part of me that's winning tonight is the part of me that's drinking Smooth Move tea. And my computer's making noises. Pardon me. That's drinking Smooth Move tea. And I just had 2 croissants. One of them with chocolate and with little chocolate inside, and the other was an apricot croissant. Delish. And that side is winning out. The indulgent side is winning out. I have to tell you, I'm just at this point in my life of feeling the I don't wanna. The I don't wannas. Of course, I love the work that I do. But to be able to be a counselor, a remote counselor, or to offer my services to people, that means I have to also be excellent at PR, because I have to earn enough money to be able to pay PR people so that my services can keep getting out there. And it's just this feedback loop that I've been in for 5 years. And God bless. I know there's plenty of amazing counselors and coaches out there who have figured out the formula for themselves. But honestly, it's trial and error. That's the crux of it. And love, relationship, finances, with your body, with your life, it's trial and error. And I was listening to Tony Robbins the other day, and he just continues to have great stories because he continues to live his life in the way that he always has, which is to do research, talk to people, have really great conversations, and turn around and give that to us in something that's digestible and understandable, also using the principles of NLP. Anyway, his story was about his current wife, Sage, his second wife. And he said that he met and she was all excited because she was an acupuncturist and a nutritionist. And he thought, great, because he hadn't touched sugar for years, like 15 years or something like that. Great, we'll do green drink and we'll hang out and she can take my blood. This is so wonderful. I'm so excited about the continual healthy lifestyle I'm going to have. This person's perfect for me. She's going to be exactly what I need. And then they went on a date. And on that date, she had, some salad, a good meal. But at the end of the date, to his absolute shock and horror, she orders a hot fudge sundae. And he goes, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "Living, anal man." And I just, knowing Tony Robbins and his character, his persona, I can really see that, how hung up we get in their ideas of perfection and the ideal and everything, all the points of view that we take on about what it is to really be healthy. And certainly there's plenty of research that says that wheat and gluten and sugars increase inflammation in our body. And that's not to be dismissed. I mean, that's incredible research. And are you in denial of yourself all the time and therefore in denial of living? Tonight was a croissant night. If I have one croissant night now, and I just keep having croissant nights, well, I can expect to do what I did last year, which is gain 10 pounds. And I did start the no sugar thing, and I lost 3 pounds, but I have not been consistent. There just has not been a consistency in my world and in my field. Which brings me to an even more juicy topic. And I know he's going to love this to some degree, and maybe not to another. So I started dating somebody. We'll see how long it lasts. You never know. Roll the dice. It's Vegas. The house always wins when you date. Or get married. You just go through life and hope the other person's going to be a compliment to who you be, and you help them be a better version of themselves. So I met this guy. I referred to him as Jersey, so we'll keep up with that for the sake of continuity. And I met him, and we've been together a month. We just went on this incredible date, and oh my gosh, I could go into detail, but we'll just say that there was like food that will create memories for life. Like when I'm old, if I make it to old age and I'm mall walking America, and I'm going to all the malls of America on a tour in my bus, and I'm going to be with my friend Agnes, and I'll be like, Agnes, there was this guy. He took me on a date, and he fed me incredible food. And then we danced in the square. It was amazing. It was an amazing romantic night. You couldn't have planned it better. And you couldn't have. It was just one of those, like, I felt like I was on The Bachelor, because we ended up going downtown. There was a free outdoor concert. I got to get all country and dance. And it was fabulous. It was a fabulous night. And ultimately what happens, and some people actually carry this into their relationship and it doesn't arise organically, the idea of I'm going to find somebody, they're going to be my partner and they're going to help me. And I certainly have had that script, like I just need help in my life and I need to be with somebody who's also a giver, although I couldn't have had that language before having this experience. So what I want to offer you as a possibility in your life, if you're examining it and you're just like, I'm just having croissant nights, croissant and smooth move nights. I'm not really getting on the bandwagon with running my business like I want it to. I'm just sort of lazy, just out of alignment, just sort of, hanging back and waiting for it to happen to me. Passive acceptance of whatever is happening. And then, occasionally screaming into the abyss at social media. If that describes you, give a moment. I want to drink. And you want to do better. You want to get a little bit better. Then check yourself. Check your language. Because here's what I'm trying to say. Is that you can have all these thoughts and plans about what you should do, who you should be, how the outcome should be, what the, and you can search all these different formats. And you find some formats that are really good for you. But ultimately, you're not going to know until you know. You have to have the experience. Like, I couldn't have dreamed up last night's date. Like, if I sat down and was like, let me plan something that's going to totally elate me. There was elements of course, that were part of my schema and internal script. But when it all unfolds, it just unfolds. And so what I want to offer in this podcast particularly is that we're all scrambling to, have the good life. And I'm surrounded by life coaches. I'm immersed with counselors. On every day there's a new thought leader, mentor, or some sort of clever title of a person that's trying to help us live the dream, be the dreamer and live the dream. And I want to kind of get practical, because when I see that, when I see oh, you're writing a love letter to the universe with your words and language, and you must love yourself. And in the coaching language, what I understand is there's some people out there who don't speak that language. You're just a rational dude, or you're just a freaking pragmatic female. And you don't have time for the fluffy, starry banter that goes on with life coaches yeah, really feel that, feel into it, get into it. So I'm not going to ask you to do that. I'm going to ask you to just say, okay, live your life. And if you're overweight, well, you can do something about it or not. And if you choose not to, the thing that you can do about it immediately is choose how you think about it. The hardest part of anything is the way we think about it. I having deep anxiety about a situation is actually stress trying to teach you a lesson. I'm talking to you people. I'm having a conversation on the microphone, and I know that you're out there listening for the nugget of truth that is Rebekah Freedom. You want the goods, you want the get in and dig in and really feel something, but I gotta tell you, I am being so distracted by this freaking croissant. It's sitting here being like, eat me, take a bite of me. I'm right here. You got a task at hand in front of you, but I'm over here. There's something up. And then there's the warm drink that I made, and it just wants to be drunk. And then there's the guy, who's all up in my business. And, and it's like orgasm central, and God knows there's plenty of stuff I haven't done with my business. Plus I've got this like living situation where I'm feeling like, is it time for me to be called to go somewhere else? Or am I just creating a scenario in my head? So what I'm saying and offering all this is that part of our biggest struggle is to focus our energy and to not be deep in distraction, especially when we're wanting to change our scenario. If we're lonely, if we're stuck, we're in a relationship that isn't ideal, we're just trying to piece together the parts, and we're like, oh, it's good enough. Our body's good enough. Our bank account's good enough. It's fine. If we're just acquiescing to the mundane, a lot of the time it has to do with our ability to focus our energy. And the times that we really need to do that the most is when we're exhausted, we're tired. But what happens is I notice myself and other people, but mostly me, like dealing with exhaustion through distraction. Like I seek out entertainment when I'm tired. I seek out like, okay, I'll just watch a movie. I'm too tired to like clean the house or clean the room or do anything like that. And this is a nugget I'm going to give you. If you're exhausted, don't seek out entertainment to make you feel better or anesthetize it. What you need to do is stop, sit on the cushion, and breathe. And in that way, even 5 minutes of just space, of going in the room if you have kids and just turning on the shower and taking a long bath or whatever, a nice poop, whatever it is, that you take that 5 minutes of concentrated energy to just ground down, breathe deep into your stomach, push it all the way out and push those muscles out, those intercostals, expand your ribs up, lift your chest, rise your chin, all the way in, all the way out. There's so many ways that we can access our lives, the really good stuff. So let's fucking talk about orgasms. Let's stop with this rambling. Let's talk about you and your body creating massive pleasure, like right now. Orgasms. Have them. There, we talked about orgasms. Sometimes I just want to say that sometimes I really don't have a lot of wisdom flowing through me. But I want to do my best. I want to do my best to give you the goods. We had a little, we had some podcasts that were up that were saucy, and we had to take them down. We had to take down the sauce, and we had to bring it back to the moderate level of entertainment. So that's exactly what this is. This is a moderate level of entertainment by Rebekah Freedom. I want to tell you some stories. Let's do some stories. Let's get some relationship advice, and then let's wrap this thing up today. Let's wrap this freaking croissant binge up today. So one of the tools that I used from Access Consciousness, which is so effective, is light or heavy. Does that feel light to my system, or does it feel heavy and contracted? And so one of the things that I'm aware of is I've had the privilege of living on this incredible property. It's like living in Provence, France. It's this like gorgeous landscaping and just warm colors, and I'm in this adorable studio. It's completely quiet at night. You can see the stars. There's no lights out. There's no street lights or anything like that. It's in Rancho Santa Fe, California. And there's a beautiful pool, a cedar sauna. I've talked about it before, I'm sure. And it's absolutely breathtaking, the property. And I have a friend who refers to it as the witch's cave. Of course, me being the magic sorceress witch or whatever, normal human being who's done a lot of studying of epicness. And so I live here, and, I created a scenario. There was this really interesting energy that happened 2 months ago where the neighbors that live next to me and one of the many little bungalows that are on the property, the rains came down and started flooding their apartment. It was a torrential downpour. I had no idea what was going on. There was a lot of banging and clanging around. Come to find out, there was about a foot of water that flowed into their property. Well, as fate would have it, they were getting ready. That was within their last month of being here, and they were getting ready to move. Shout out to Justin and Bahara, really amazing, co-neighbors on this property. So they left and moved to Seattle, and I thought, oh gosh, well, I moved in when they moved in. Does that mean I have to move? So I had this sense of just deep anxiety of like, am I going to lose this place financially? How am I going to make it happen? What kind of leverage do I have? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Only to have nothing happen, for me to just pay rent the next month. Well, in hindsight, looking at that energy, I think what started to happen was this sort of polar curiosity for something else to happen. And I'm not really sure exactly what that is. But once again, I left the property and I let the owner know I was going to be leaving. And I left it for 10 days, and I had a friend come and stay on the property. Well, normally, with the type of rapport I have with the land people, I thought for the most part it would be okay if someone came and checked on the place. Well, it turns out it wasn't. And again, my bad for not making proper introductions or offering over communication on that. And that's something you can never over communicate with a person. You can never you can definitely just check in and make sure that there's plenty of information there so that there's clear lines of communication. So what's ended up happening is the recreation of that anxiety, where this gorgeous property that I'm on, I just haven't been able to really drop in and enjoy it, feeling like, oh my gosh, any minute I'm going to be fired or asked to leave. And I've had these inclinations before, and there's been some sort of indication that might be the case towards the end of summer. Of course, it's only May, and it's going to be June next month, so there's plenty of time to create something else or have a pivot. But what I became intimately aware of today is that stress or anxiety or depression, or if any of those emotions that are out of the window of tolerance, are really just a lesson waiting to be fully integrated and learned. The lesson here, of course, is one of hierarchy. When you are renting or even owning, and even just anywhere in your life, you're somewhere on the hierarchical scale. Like, freedom is really understanding your place and how to communicate with people who have authority over you, who have a say in your living situation, who are contributing to your well-being, and to have humility around that. And the lesson that that's yet to be integrated here is this sense of self-righteousness around ownership or finances or something, just some indignant nature that's creating a block. Because ultimately, and the other component too is when you're ready to communicate with somebody, and you may have the feeling that there's a need to communicate, but for whatever reason, the window or the opportunity is not coming up for that to happen. Then it's just a time to hold your tongue and sit and ask, what is the lesson here? What can I learn from this? And interestingly, what it's created is that, like, I get to be here. I feel extra responsible to be the caretaker of the property that I'm on. And the person that I've started dating, he is not really allowed on the property per the lease or the clause, but also per the situation where he was the one who I had come over to the place. And it created this interesting, barrier, I guess, or riff around him coming over. Now, of course, this can be amended. There's some things that can be done possibly to switch things, but I think I'm telling the story to illustrate ownership over the unintended consequences or things that you may have subconsciously been creating, meaning challenges, battles, conflict, just moments where you weren't intending to have an outcome that created anxiety, depression, or discomfort, but nonetheless, some choices that were made lended to that. By the way, the croissants have hit bottom in my stomach right now. It is happy and mad at the same time, mostly happy because I'm washing it down again with Smooth Move tea. It's the way to go. It's also a side note when I travel or stay at somebody else's house, backed up, not fun. So, at the heart of the story and the heart of what I want to share with you today, again, is that the stress that you're feeling in your life is an unintegrated lesson. And for you to be able to release that stress, you have to have a willingness to go through conflict, to say your truth, to take ownership over what you created, how you contributed to a scenario, and just hope that the other person is open to that. Also, energetically, you can prepare and prep for those things. Imagining if you're having the conversation with the person and asking questions about what's required to come to the most peaceful outcome. What is my best and highest good? What have I not acknowledged about what I've been creating that would change everything immediately? How can I show up in a way that creates greater harmony? How can I really, again, integrate this lesson? And what questions do I need to ask to create a change or a switch in my life? So as we close this podcast, I'm noticing it's a little bit shorter, but I just want to keep it short and sweet and say that just keep making choices in your life. Just, if you have croissant evenings, then so be it. And you can wake up the next day and have green drink mornings and just continue rocking and rolling. So, yeah, so excited to have you just experiment with your life and love and sex and relationships. If you have any questions about how to make massive change or just a little bit of change or face conflict, if you really want to know how to integrate to change stress and by facing conflict, then I encourage you to reach out to me at RebekahFreedom.com. That's REBEKAH freedom.com. Thank you so much for listening to my rambling today. This was definitely a sleepy podcast because I've been having so many orgasms. And you know what? I wish that for you too. So be well and be set free.